Hey guys, before you start, you're going to want to have your packet open to page 18, and we're going to be doing some things in this packet. So again, that's page 18. Pause the video, get out your packet, and then unpause it when you're ready. All right, so this brief presentation is going to be on the nuts and bolts of kind of reading music. When you guys get into the purple book, you're going to notice that music is no longer just spelled out for you like you have been seeing it. Like you're not going to see anything that looks like this anymore. Your music is all going to be drawn on a music staff. And I want you to think about the music staff is kind of like an apartment building. When you enter an apartment building, you enter on floor 1, and that's like the bottom line of the music staff, and the top floor is floor 5 or line 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It works the same way with the 4 spaces in between. We start at the bottom and we work our way up. Now, the first thing that we're going to do in our packets is we're going to learn how to draw notes on lines. So it is important that the note head not be too low or too high, but you want to kind of try to split it in the middle so it's perfect like that. So in your packet, we see that we have the music staff, and I want you to circle 5 lines there. And it talks about how we number them, but this one, I want you to start at the bottom line and try to draw a note, an oval, and draw the head so it's evenly split between the top and the bottom. And draw them the best you can. I'm trying to hold a camera and do this, so it's a little bit harder for me. It should be easier for you. And number those 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, now the next thing that we need to do is we're going to work on drawing notes in spaces. So you don't want to make it too big and you don't want to make it too small, but kind of like when you were in kindergarten, when your teacher used to say, when you were coloring, try to stay between the lines. That is exactly what you want to do here, between the lines. That, perfect. So back in your packet on page 18, we're going to go ahead and try to fill up the entire space without going outside of the lines. And we're going to number them from the bottom up, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So far, so good. At any time, if you need to pause the video, pause it and do what I ask you to and then come back. The next thing that we learned about already is called the treble clef. However, it's got a second name, and it's called a G clef. And if you see, there's kind of a hidden G in there with just kind of rounder edges. Hopefully you can see that. And it wraps around this second line here. And that second line is a G. So it doesn't matter if it's a whole note, a half note, a quarter note, a couple of pairs of eighth notes. Those are all G's. And don't get confused with the stems. You just look at that note head, and if it's on that second line, the note is a G. All right, so back in your packet, what I would like you to do is to draw a whole note on the second line and draw a little arrow and label it G, like that, okay? We are gonna learn how to do this, but how to draw a treble clef when I come back. So we will be doing that. The next thing is you can figure out the other notes of the staff if you know G. All right, so remember, the musical alphabet A, B, C, D, E, F, G. After G, it starts to repeat, no H. So it makes sense. If you go up on the staff, you go up in the alphabet. And if you go down on the staff, you go backwards and down. So if we go space, or a line, and then a space, and a line, and a space, and we don't skip anything, we are going in order of the musical alphabet. So if we start with G, and we go into the space above, after G comes A, then B, then C, then D, E, and F. Notice how we're going line, space, line, space, line, space. And we finally end in a space. If we do this backwards, we have to remember we have to think a little bit more. And we're going to go G, and one before G is F, and one before F is E, and then one before E is D, and then one before D is C. All right, and that C is the one that you guys have been playing a whole lot. That is smiley face C. We call it middle C. And that is the D that you guys were playing. And then when we played soaring, we had D and E. So these are the three pitches of the right hand that you played, and that's what they look like on the music staff. All right, now some people make up words to help them remember the spaces. And if you see, the bottom space is F, the second space is A, third space is C, and the fourth space is E. And if you put them together, it spells the word face. That also rhymes with space, face, space. Some people will add in acronyms like Fat Albert causes earthquakes. We also have ones for the lines, E, G, B, D, F. Every Gerber baby dribbles food. Or there's so many of these things. Elvis's guitar broke down Friday. You probably have heard every good boy does fine. That's probably one of the most common ones. And every good boy does fine. Fine rhymes with line. And so you've got those. All right, now if we go back in our packets, we have a little bit of a review. And tells you the blank consists of blank lines and blank spaces. So if you remember that the music staff consists of 5 lines, and let's go ahead and circle 4 spaces. We've got that. So let's add that in. So the music staff consists of 5 lines and 4 spaces. The blank clef, or the blank clef, tells us where the pitch blank is. So let's take a look. We learned about, this is the only thing we learned about clef. So the treble clef, also known as the G clef, tells us where the pitch G is. So the treble clef, or the G clef, tells us where the pitch G is written. The musical alphabet uses the first blank letters of the alphabet. After blank, it starts over. So if we look here underneath musical alphabet, the musical alphabet uses only letters A through G. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G is 7 letters. And after G, it starts over. So the musical alphabet uses the first 7 letters of the alphabet, and after G, it starts over. And it wants you to draw a note on each line and then each space. Just make sure that when you do this, that you evenly split, like we talked about. And we're going to number them, starting from the bottom one, which is line 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5. And then we have the spaces. We're going to put this fully in the space. I'm a little short there. It's because I'm holding a camera. It's hard to do. I'm a little short there. Hopefully you're doing a little bit better job. And 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right. In your packet, what I would like you to do is on pages 21, 22, and 23, we're going to name the pitches. So we learned that this treble clef is wrapped around that second line. And if we go backwards in the alphabet, the line is G, that space is F, that line is E, that space is D, and this note here that it's landed on with the line is our C. And we're gonna go ahead and write in those C's, and then we're gonna write in these D's. Now, we have here in the space, that is the note B. And I will teach you guys how to figure that out, but right now you're just gonna memorize it. That is the B that you've been playing, and that is the C. So hopefully, I'm gonna have you walk over to the keyboard and practice all of these in a second. But you've got to make sure that you remember that your hands need to be in middle C position like this. So this C right here is going to be played with finger 1 right here. And finger 2 is going to be this D and this D. So I'm going to write 2 there, and then I'm going to put finger 1. This tells you that finger 2 is playing this B, and this is finger 1. All right, you have these 2 circles which mean to repeat. So when you play this, you'll actually play this twice. What I'd like you to do is to pause the video, and then write in the names of these pitches, and then check your answers and make sure that you've got them, and then go over to the keyboards. So pause the video. I'm going to show you right now the answers. So you should have C and D, and C and B, and C and D, and C. And here we have C, D, 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 C, B, 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 C, D, 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 and C, B, and C. On the next page, you have C, C, D, D, C, C, B, B, C, C, D, D, C, B, C. Don't forget about these repeats. Right hand, left hand, right hand, left hand. And then you have C, D, C, D, C, B, C, B, C, D, C, D, C, B, C. And the last page, before you go over and try to play these, you're going to have C, D, D, C, B, B, C, D, D, B, and C. And again, the repeats. And then you have C, D, D, B, C, C, B, C, D, D, B, C, C. And last one, C, D, D, C, C, B, B, C, C, D, D, C, C, B, C, and the repeats. So your job today is to practice pages 21, 22, and 23 and be able to play all of those. Remember to keep a steady beat when you're practicing. Keep your hands in C position. Play on the tips. Good luck, have fun. Don't drive the sub nuts.